Greetings everyone, I'm Dr. Wolf, out here for a bit of a nature walk and for another discussion and financial advice. This time with the question, is college worth it? And to be honest, I think that depends. For the most part, I would say yes. I would say that getting that higher education will lead to a better career in the long term. I would say that it teaches you much more independence going through that degree. I would say that you pick up a lot of other skills aside from the particular career that you're seeking out. And yet there are certain circumstances where I'd say maybe it isn't so worth it for certain people. It really depends. In my case, I wasn't entirely sure the kind of career I wanted when I started going to college. I just knew that I wanted a higher education. I just believed that by pursuing a degree, it would land me a better job someday, somehow. That was my sort of plan, and that's not really the kind of mindset you want when you're starting to go to college. It's really not the kind of mindset you want, especially if you're going into debt going to college. You really need to come up with a sense of what you want to be doing, how you want to get there before you go down that path. I have heard far too many stories of people who only think they know what they want from college and end up going to some very prestigious college, racking up tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans, and only realize far too late that the career that they really want isn't anywhere near as beneficial or as rewarding or as fulfilling as they initially thought. And now they've got to pay for it for the next few decades. Unfortunately, in some cases, the career they've chosen may never be able to pay off those student loans. Now, in my case, for those of you who don't know, I am an accountant. I have been working a career as an accountant for over 12 years now, but I didn't know that that was what I was going to be when I started college. When I was going through some general ed classes and trying to get a sense for what would make sense for a long-term career, I started shifting towards business side of things because my father got a business degree, my brother got a business degree. In fact, both my older brothers got business degrees. One was for IT and the other was for marketing. So it would make sense that, well, if it worked for them, maybe it would work for me too. It's something to look into at least. But the reason why I got into accounting was not because I particularly enjoyed it, not because I was particularly excited about it, not because I felt passionate about it, but because I was good at it. And more importantly, because I knew that that kind of career would be in demand when I graduated college. I knew that that kind of education would land me a job. Even though it was in the middle of my college career instead of before, that was my mistake, but I did rectify it in the middle of my college career, I did figure out that it was important that I choose something that was actually going to get me a well-paying job, a sustainable job that I could rely on for decades to come when I graduated college. That was very important to me. I knew that I'd want to get out on my own, that I'd want to get married, that I'd want to have my own life. And if I chose something that was more about what excited me, what was fun for me, what I felt passionate about, I knew that I couldn't have something that was nearly so reliable, so dependable. And I'm very glad for that decision. So very glad for that decision. Because the fact that I chose a career that was more about what would make me needed rather than what would make me feel fulfilled. Because while accounting is something I'm particularly good at, it can get pretty tedious and it can even get pretty mind-numbing at times. It does allow me many other opportunities that I would not have had otherwise if I had chosen a career that was based solely on what I felt like doing. If I didn't have that reliable, dependable job for so many years, I wouldn't have been able to get into a home of my own and become debt-free anywhere nearly as quickly. And perhaps I wouldn't have even been able to have the free time to start a YouTube channel when I did. I am able to do during my free time what is fun and interesting to me, because during the day I do something that is sustainable, practical, for lack of a better word, something that is desirable by an employer. And that's something that I feel is very important when asking the question, is college worth it? Because it really depends on what you expect to do with that education afterwards. Is it more about having what you enjoy doing, or is it more about having something that will give you that sense of stability, that purpose that people can rely on, that will make you feel needed? I urge people, and I know that a good chunk of my audience is made up of teenagers and even people in their early 20s, perhaps in the middle of their college career, to think about what kind of career will be in high demand by the time I graduate. And then consider, is this the kind of thing that I could be good at? And then consider, is this the kind of thing that I could continually pursue and at least feel satisfied with the results, even if it doesn't excite me? There may come a day when you get to do what you feel most passionate about. But I don't know if I'd recommend that everyone try to do that right from the get-go. Because this is what's worked for me. This is what has allowed myself and my lady to have such a stable life together. Such a happy and comfortable life together. And now we are able to do so much more because we have built such stability first. If people are patient, I guarantee it will be worthwhile in the long run. And when it comes to student loans, the college I chose and the career path that came along with it, I only racked up I think it was just over $10,000 over those 4 years of gaining that degree. I didn't have any help from my family to pay for my college career. I did apply for scholarships, anywhere from $250 to $600 every semester, which I put into work filling out those papers and seeking out the people wherever I could to help sustain things along the way. But even paying for everything on my own with those scholarships, I still was able to get that career with a little over $10,000 in student debt. And I believe that that kind of money spent on college is absolutely worthwhile. Getting myself into that long-term career that much sooner in life was worth the investment. But I really can't say the same if you're going to be taking 5 or even 10 times as much loan without having a career that is at least 5 or 10 times as rewarding. Put in the research long before you put yourself into debt. Because while I do believe that going into debt over your education is a good option, you must take care to know exactly what you're getting into and where it's leading to before making those decisions, and knowing what kind of education will get you into a high demand career when you graduate. It does make a difference. I hope more people will take note of that before they end up in that trap of so many tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans, and then find out far too late that the career that they've chosen is not in high demand or does not pay nearly as well as they thought it would. I have a career that is more than enough for what I need, and only needed to borrow about $10,000 over 4 years to do it. It is possible. I hope more than a few of you will take that message with you when making those decisions. And until next time, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.